the Marine Security Guard program. What the hell is it? The Marine Security Guard program is a program designed just for Marines to stand security watch at U.S. embassies and consulates throughout the entire world. We have close to about 200 at this point, I believe, at the making of this video. I myself did this program, and it was like the best thing ever. It was the most easiest way for me to transition out of the Marine Corps. Something you will always hear about this program is that it's the hidden gem of the Marine Corps. And I believe it to be true. I truly do. So if you guys are kind of on the fence on whether you want to do it or not, stick around to the end of this video and I think you'll learn a thing or two. Alright, so before I start talking about the pros and the cons side of the MSG program, I kind of want to give my personal testimony and my story onto why I decided to do it, and then we'll go into this stuff. So, a little background. When I joined the Marine Corps in 2016, I went to my first unit at about 2017, and the MSG program is something that I always heard about. It was something I always heard about, especially because there was this sergeant who had just got off the MSG program, and then he was working with me and he just wouldn't stop yapping about it. He wouldn't stop yapping about it. I'm like, damn, well, this sounds pretty cool. He started talking about you have a cook, you get to sit in all these cool briefs, blah, blah, all this cool stuff. You don't have to run a PFT, CFT, you don't have to do swim qual, you don't have to do any of that. So it seemed like pretty cool to me at the time, but you know, I was still a young Marine and I was still partying and I was drinking and I just wasn't really ready for it. So I was in Okinawa, I was there with my boys. So I just from one ear, not the other, you know? So there came to a point at my second unit where this circumstance happened, and man, that unit freaking sucked. It really freaking sucked. I debated a lot of like my life at that point. Not in like a bad way of something like I want to do something to myself, but like that unit really sucked and it really drained me. And there was a specific instance where something happened, and I'll make that about another video because that was like a real big shift in my career and the way I saw things. So this thing happened, and that same week I made my decision to go MSG program to get away from there, and I got a class date like a month after or something like that. So if it's something that you're kind of thinking about doing, I think it's worth it. I really do, and you know, I hope you come to a decision after this whole video. So yeah, while drawing this board up, there seems to be like way more like pros than there are cons, and maybe I'm just biased, but I really couldn't think of any more cons than these right here. So one, which is one of the biggest reasons why I didn't want to go MSG program, was because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back overseas again. I was already in Okinawa for like 2 years, and then I went stateside, and I love going home. You know, I enjoy going home. I love my family and stuff. So I just really wasn't ready for that kind of a thing. And then this thing happened, and then my whole outlook towards the MSG program just changed. So yeah, you're going to be overseas, and this just kind of depends, because if you go on MSG as a fleet Marine, you're going to be there for 3 years. And again, at the making of this video, you get to do 3 different posts in 3 years. And it all just kind of varies, because sometimes people, they do get fucked and they end up waiting longer for their visa or something like that. And then on the other side of the MSG program is the MG PEFs. So the MG PEF program, pretty much a poolee will walk into the recruiter's office and they'll pretty much sign a contract where they have to do the MSG program for like 2 years or 3 years. I believe it's 2 years. No, 3 years. Something like that. And then they owe like 2 or 3 more years back into the fleet as a grunt. So that's a really cool opportunity for like people who want to be a grunt and people who want to do, you know, the MSG program. It's like super cool. So yeah, there's that. So the schoolhouse, it's kind of like, it's in Quantico. It feels kind of long, and to be honest with you, it's kind of a high stressful environment because you're always getting tested in some sort of way, right? And integrity is super huge over there. You will find that there are a lot of people who do get dropped, but like for me, right? I'm always kind of scared about that, going in certain courses, and I've always been a pretty good performer in certain things. So I was still kind of worried about that aspect, you know? So one of my homeboys, like, no offense to this guy, but he's kind of dumb, right? So I was like, dude, if this guy fucking made it, I could definitely make it. So you shouldn't be too worried about it. just be honest. So one of the things that does mess people up over a lot is the whole part of where you get interviewed. And when you get interviewed, you have to be completely honest about everything. And these people have seen it all. They have seen very messed up stuff from other people, and they end up getting dropped or whatever. Like, I would just be as honest as you possibly could be. Don't hold anything back. And if you're not cut out for it, you're not cut out for it, right? So it's better to do things right the right way than to lie and get caught up somewhere down in the future. So the other thing is, like, it doesn't necessarily suck. Well, it sucks in the moment, right? But when you do it, it's done. But getting OC sprayed. So getting OC sprayed, even if you've been pepper sprayed before, you're going to have to do it again at Schoolhouse. Everyone does. They were MPs, detachment commanders, who would go to the Schoolhouse, and they had like that God cert where, like, they were already spraying students and they got sprayed many, many hundreds and thousands of times, and now they have to do it again, right? So it's part of it, and you have to do it. Other than that, like, the training isn't too bad. There's always constant tests. There's always tests, whether it's practical or it's like a written exam kind of a thing. There's a lot of tests, but at the end, it's not that bad. And then you're kind of at that point, depending on what country you get chosen to go to or wherever in, like, whatever region, it varies, because usually when you graduate, it's not immediate to where you're going to get sent off to your post. You're usually going to have to be waiting in the barracks a certain amount of time for you to get your visa. Then at that point, you get your flights, and then you're off fucking to your way, happily ever after, right? So other than that, another con that I could think of actually is, is leadership. So even though you guys are like a small group, so when you go to a detachment, if you are at a small post, you could have like 7 Marines, 8. Or if you are at like a larger post, you could have up to 20, maybe even more. It all just kind of depends. So this part, I think, is kind of important to touch on, just because, like, the shitty leadership aspect is still there. Like, and we're going to talk about that again on this side. And it's pretty cool because when you go on MSG program, you get away from like the Marine Corps side of things for a little bit, for the most part, right? But if you have a shitty detachment commander, he or she is going to make that place fucking suck booty cheeks. Like, you're going to wake up every morning with your cheeks spread and getting clapped by a cactus cock, right? Detachment commanders can make or break the fucking thing. And, like, just one little piece of one bad apple could ruin the whole bunch. And then when that person leaves, everyone's all fucking happy again, okay? And it sucks even more because it's just you guys. You know, like, it's just you guys. And really, one person could affect everybody. Whether that's a detachment commander or it's someone in your actual detachment from the 7 other Marines, or 10 or 20, whatever you have, they could, you know, be the cancer of that little detachment that you guys have. Hey, what's going on, Wealth Warriors? If you find this video of any value, please do me a favor and like and subscribe. Share this video to your friends and family. And if not, don't do it, all right? Let me earn it, but continue watching. I think you're going to get some valuable information. Other than that, back to our scheduled programming. Thank you for your support. All right, so now to Chapter 5, Section 3469. We have all these other sections, right, of the pro side, because there's a lot of pros to this program. So, number 1, we have travel and culture. You get to travel a lot, so it's really cool. Let's say you are in a really good place like Europe, and then you so happen to have like 3 or 4 days off. You could take special liberty, and I forget what the exact rules are, but you could take special liberty like 1 or 3 times a month, or you have an overnight kind of stay, something like that, right? But point being is, you could have those 3-4 days off in a row and go somewhere super cool. And, like, especially if you're in a place like Europe where transportation is like everywhere and it's super easy to get to places, that is super cool. And then you have like that culture experience side of things. And this is so cool. Like, whenever I joined the Marine Corps and I got sent to Oki, I was kind of like, damn, like, I don't know if I want to go to Oki. Like, I just kind of put it because my homeboys put it. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do it too. And then we all go. And it was like the best thing ever. Like, you get to experience so much things. Like, you don't know what you don't know. And when you go, you are just like shell shocked. You're surprised at the things, how people interact, and the different values that people hold and stuff like that, the currency. You get to see the other side of the world. It's just so awesome. So if you are kind of like, you don't know whether you want to do it, I would just do it. It's a really, really great experience. And I guarantee once you have that experience, you'll probably want to end up doing something like that similar again in the future. So yeah, travel and culture. Well, traveling is super easy to do. It's super easy to do. And it all just kind of depends. Like if you are at a high threat post to where like there's a lot of danger in this certain, you know, consulate or embassy, taking leave may not be as ideal for you as opposed to if you went to somewhere safer, to where taking leave wouldn't be a problem at all. So that's another thing to consider with this part. The other thing is pay. So in the fleet, especially stateside, you're not getting shit. You're not getting shit. So with pay, there's different pays that you get. So usually you'll get COLA, which is the cost of living allowance, and it all varies. So like in Europe, I say Europe, I keep going back to Europe because that's where I was. I was in Munich, Germany. And the Marine Corps, you know, they'll like give you a certain pay allowance. That way it can make up for the cost of living. And that's kind of what that thing is there. Then when you go to a more dangerous place, so I'm going to say Erbil, Iraq, that was my second post, where threat was a little more higher. Well, not a little, like a lot more higher than fucking Europe. So you get all these different pays. So while in Erbil, Iraq, I was getting hazard pay, imminent danger pay, BAS, some other one too. But like the pay there was like super good. I was like, damn, every time I got paid, it was a good day, right? So pay, I want to say like no matter where you go, it's going to be like significantly more than if you were in the fleet as a Marine. Not counting like Hawaii and Okinawa. I'm talking about like stateside. So the other thing is Liberty. We already kind of talked about that. So Liberty, but I'll kind of go back to it too. So Liberty, the order is 0300, which is like the latest you could be when you're out. And this doesn't account for if you have an overnight stay and your command is already tracking. You could, but even then at that point, you're supposed to be in by 3, right? So Liberty is taken a little more seriously because a lot of people on program get in trouble. They get in trouble a lot, and it's highlighted a lot because you are in another country, and if you get in trouble, guess what's going to be on the headlines, their story, news lines, whatever. U.S. Marine from the United States, blah, blah, fucking beat an old lady. Like, that's what's going to happen, okay? So stuff like incidents, they get taken like so much more seriously, and getting kicked out off the program is like a real big, huge possibility. So, you know, you want to be in buddy pairs most of the times, you have to, stuff like that. So just abide by the Liberty policy and you'll be fine. It kind of sucks at times, but the other kind of like way around it sort of thing is to just be like, have some friends out there, you know, have some friends out there. So, and then do your, you know, reports and stuff like that. So yeah, there's the Liberty part and then the Marine Corps. So this is the part where these two kind of intertwine. So while on MSG program, it's pretty cool because you get to be away from the Marine Corps. Not entirely, but in certain things. So there will be certain times where you won't have to do a PFT or a CFT. Definitely not swim qual. Rifle qual is going to be like, you're not going to be doing rifle qual at all. So these scores, you want to make sure before you go on program that you have somewhat of a good score, because especially rifle score. Like if you are already a Fleet Marine and you're going MSG program, you want to make sure you shoot a good score, because if not, excuse me, if not, you're going to be fucked with that score like those entire 3 years. And you'll have all these other controllables done, but your rifle score is what's hindering you. So I would try to, you know, get expert on that before you go to the schoolhouse. So back to like the Marine Corps side of things, like you get to escape certain things. And while you get to, you really don't entirely. And it all just kind of depends on your detachment, right? So I've been in detachments to where we didn't PT at all. Why? Because we were all working out. We were all getting swole. And we, you know, had our functions here and there. But like for the most part, no PTs, which is dope. And then the only time we would really do PT is if it was for something fun, or if it was like an actual, like we're running a PFT or a CFT kind of a thing. So, and in some countries, the air quality may be so bad, you won't even be able to do a PFT, CFT. It just gets kind of like waived. So now we'll go into your clearance and job opportunity. So when you go to the schoolhouse, you get a security clearance. So these clearances are so expensive to have, and it opens so many gates and opportunities for you to get employment and other sectors that you want. And especially you being able to network with certain agencies that you already work with there at the consulate or embassy. You get all these letters of recommendations. Sometimes these agencies want to see letters of recommendations for whenever you get out. And, you know, just having all these different relations with people, all these different letters of recommendations, your clearances are super expensive. So if you can save a company on a security clearance, that means a lot to them. So doing this program opens so much more doors for you, whether you want to stay in after the MSG program or you want to get out. Being in the MSG program is such a great way to get out of the Marine Corps because you see so many different things that you didn't know existed. So all these all kind of lump up into one kind of a thing. The other one is you have so much extra time. So when you are on the MSG program, you're going to find that you are bored. Like, and this is mainly during like on duty or when it's like on the weekends kind of a thing. You should try your best to have a life outside, right? Especially if you're in a good country or a good post. Try to go out as much as you can, you know, have fun, see the world. But for the most part too, like you have so much free time. I don't know why there are people who get off the program and they don't have a degree of some sort. And they don't go to school because you could spend your entire time, they call it the box. The box is post one, where Marines, they stand watch and you're pretty much monitoring all the cameras and stuff like that. So while you're in there, you can do school, all that kind of thing. But what most people do is they'll pull up Netflix, they'll watch YouTube, and they'll kind of kill time that way. And it's cool and all, but you could be doing all these different things to make yourself better. So like, you have so much time for fitness. You like, I don't know why too, Marines who are MSG program are running like third classes, PFTs, CFTs. Like you have so much more time to dedicate to actually working out and on your fitness. Why are you running this, man? Lay off the fucking YouTube, lay off eating those fucking Cheetos, collecting Cheeto dust in your fucking belly button, and you know, do some damn PT, right? You got a lot of time. So, and then the side hustle part, like you could research a lot of stuff. I'm not saying to day trade all your money away, okay? But you could learn a lot of cool stuff, a lot of skills that could translate out of the Marine Corps if you're trying to switch out. Or if you just are trying to stay in, but you could have time to read, you could have time to learn new stuff, just new stuff instead of fucking YouTube, right? And then like the school thing, going back to it, this is gonna be another video, it's gonna be the next video, but you could earn your degree so fast. And I'll give you guys a little bit of a like background here. So the Marine Corps gives you already credits and you get that on your JST, which is the Joint Service Transcript. So on top of that, if you go to a military-friendly institution, there are these two websites called Sophia and Study.com. And then if you use TA, tuition assistance, you can take up to 2 classes at the same time. And that's completely paid for by the Marine Corps. Not touching your GI Bill, right? You're using tuition assistance. And then if you use, you know, Study.com or Sophia.com, these things are coming out of your pocket, but you're knocking them out so fast. And I'll make that another video, but that is just kind of like a little piece of it. And my second post in Erbil, Iraq, there was a lot of time, obviously, we couldn't go anywhere. So we're all sharing game. We're all sharing game here. And a lot of the Marines were getting their bachelor's degrees in 6 months. Are you shitting me? 6 months, dude. 6 months, right? So watch out for the next video. It's going to be a good one. And then the last one is you have your own chef, and you don't always do. It all just kind of depends because sometimes there's like a budget, blah, blah. So, but when you do have a chef, life could be so good. And it does come out of your own pocket, or I've also seen other posts where like that, I don't want to say all these agencies and stuff, right? But like it's pretty much paid for and it's not coming out of your own pocket, which is super dope. So, for instance, for my last post in Mexico, Juarez, dude, we had this one cook named Daniel. Bro, this guy would like, he cooks dope. Every Thursday, chilaquiles. Everyone looked forward to it because they were fire. They were bomb. On top of that, you could customize your shit. And for me, you know, I like working out and stuff. So I would tell them 5 or 5.5 ounces of chicken, and then like however many grams of rice, depending on what I was doing, like bulking or cutting. And everyone had their own little, like, you know, what they could eat or what they couldn't eat, what they wanted to eat. And it's just real cool. But not all cooks are built the same. This cook was f***ing, he needed a f***ing award. So one more thing. I forgot to add one more thing here. One more thing. Poo-tang. You get some foreign poo-tang. And for you ladies, you get some foreign brats, right? So I'm fucking around with this, right? But I'm kind of serious at the same time. So I know a lot of Marines, and I'm pretty sure you do if you're already a Marine, but there'll be a lot of people who come off the MSG program and they get out, boot up. They come out booed up because they met someone in wherever they were at in Brazil or whatever, and now they got this big, beautiful woman, and they're their wives now, and they get them their visa, and it's a little more expedited because they already work at a consulate or embassy, and you know, they're living stateside now. So that's another cool thing that you could do. So I hope this video answered some questions for you guys on whether you want to do it or not. I know it's kind of like a big decision because you're going away for 3 years or 2 years or whatever it is for you guys. So I hope this video really did help you. If you have any other questions, please drop them in the comments and I will get back to you at some point. Thank you guys for watching. Stay blessed and Semper Fi.